Imagine going on one single date, and then receiving 159,000 texts. Yeah, you heard me right. 159,000 text messages after the first date. And some of those messages were threatening. How would you feel if you received 159,000 text messages after the first date? That's what we're going to talk about today. It's the Jacqueline Ades case, and it's an interesting and yet disturbing case all in one. We're talking about mental health behavior, what drives people to do crimes. It really highlights the need for getting help with mental health. When you have mental illness and you have an obsession with people, so often the behavior is so negative and so dangerous, it could cause harm and it could cause a lot of crime. That's what this series is all about. My name is John Cordray. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I talk about therapy crime scenes, all about true crime through the lens of mental health. And today we're going to be talking about the chilling story of Jacqueline Ades. It's a case that's gripped headlines. You may have seen the headlines, but I want to talk about this case and her mental health. And I think it's important here because I want to highlight the behaviors, not necessarily the criminal behind those behaviors. I want to talk about this because I want to bring awareness to mental health. We're going to dive into the scene. We're going to talk about Jacqueline, what she may have been going through. I'm going to speculate on some mental health issues. And then we're going to talk about the why, the motive. Why does she do this? 2018, Jacqueline was arrested in Arizona for allegedly sending a staggering 159,000 text messages to a man that she met on a dating app after just one date. She's accused of breaking into his home, leaving threatening messages, and even claiming to be his wife. But beyond those headlines, this case offers a window into mental health challenges that can manifest in extreme behavior. So let's break down the mental health indicators here using my clinical lens and explore what this case teaches us about untreated mental illness. First, let's talk about Jacqueline's delusional thinking here. It's a hallmark indicator in this case. Court records and Jacqueline's own statements reveal a pattern of belief that don't really align with reality. She reportedly called herself the Messiah, referenced Walt Disney and Thomas Edison as if they were still alive, and believed the man that she was messaging was destined to marry her. In one interview, she expressed confidence that a jury would not only find her innocent, but demand that she marry her victim. These statements suggest possible delusions of grandeur and erotomania, which is a condition where someone believes another person, often of a higher status, is in love with them despite no evidence for this. We see this a lot in stalking cases when fans of a star or a celebrity stalk and they do unusual behavior to get to that person because they believe that that celebrity loves them. As a counselor, I will look at signs of psychotic disorder like schizophrenia here, or perhaps a severe mood disorder with psychotic features. Jacqueline's attorney suspected bipolar disorder or even paranoid schizophrenia, and court-appointed psychologists found her mentally incompetent to stand trial in 2019. Delusions like these can drive obsessive behaviors, as they create a distorted reality where actions like sending thousands upon thousands of texts feel justified or even necessary. Let's examine Jacqueline's obsessive behavior here and the apparent lack of impulse control. Sending 159,000 texts over 10 months, sometimes 500 a day, indicates an inability to regulate her actions, even when they lead to illegal consequences. Jacqueline broke into the man's home twice. She took a bath, had her dogs, and drank wine, and she had a butcher knife in her car. These actions suggest a compulsion to act on her fixation, despite clear risk. She wasn't thinking about the consequences. She was only obsessed on getting the thing that she was focused on. From a clinical perspective here, this could point to obsessive compulsive tendencies, though not necessarily OCD Or it could be a symptom of a personality disorder, like borderline personality disorder, where intense fear of abandonment drives extreme behavior. Her texts, which range from romantic to threatening, also show emotional dysregulation, swinging between idolization to hostility. This volatility is a red flag for untreated mental health issues, where emotional impulses override rational judgment. What's particularly striking here about this case is how untreated mental illness can escalate into criminal behavior. Jacqueline's charges, stalking and criminal trespassing, were ultimately dismissed in 2020 due to her mental illness. She was transferred to Valleywise Behavioral Health Center for treatment, and her attorney noted plans to move her to Florida for further care. This outcome highlights a critical issue here. The legal system often struggles to balance justice with mental health needs. We want to address the behavior, the criminality here, but we can't leave out the mental illness that drove the criminality. We have to address the one in order to address the other. Research shows that interventions like cognitive behavioral therapy can reduce criminal behavior in at-risk individuals by addressing underlying mental health issues. My guess is that Jacqueline had other issues way before this encounter here, and there were people in her life that didn't recognize that there were a lot of symptoms that needed to be addressed to get to the core issue of what she was struggling with. This was overlooked. Had Jacqueline received earlier intervention, would this have been prevented? Her case underscores the need for accessible mental health services, especially for those showing early signs of distress, before behaviors cross into criminal territory. The Jacqueline Ades case is a stark reminder that mental health issues, when untreated, can lead to actions that harm others and entangle individuals in the legal system. As a counselor, I see her story as a call to action. We need better health screening. We need early intervention. We need public awareness to destigmatize seeking help. Her delusions, obsessive behavior, and emotional volatility weren't just quirks. They were cries for help that went unanswered until it was too late. So what do you think about this case? Should the legal system prioritize treatment over punishment in cases like these? Have you or someone else you know struggled to access mental health support? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And let's start a conversation here to bring out the mental health awareness. We need to have a conversation around this. So if you found this analysis of Jacqueline Ades' case interesting, if you like true crime and mental health and trying to unpack the reasons why someone commits a crime, then you're going to love the Therapy Crime Scenes. And I want you to subscribe to this channel. I also want you to go to the Therapy Crime Scenes playlist and look at my other videos that I have. There's a whole playlist that I dive into true crime, and I look at the mental health indicators in this crime of not only the victims and what they have gone through, and even the community, but in particular, the person who committed the crime. Where is that coming from? Why did that person commit the crime in the first place? If it's mental health reasons, I want to talk about it. So if you have an interesting case for me to talk about next, let me know in the comments. Thank you everybody for watching this video on Therapy Crime Scenes. If you thought this was interesting, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.